want to turn your lower back into a powerhouse. We're going to look at 4 moves or 4 exercises that you can start to be able to build your lower back strength, but also endurance and stability. If you want to build your low back strength endurance, please do hit the link in the description and you'll go through to my How to Build Low Back Strength Endurance online 12-week program. Move or exercise number 1 is the bird dog. A very important exercise. What we want to do is start building some endurance and stability into the low back, into the muscles that surround the lower back, which is what's really going to make the difference with all of these exercises. So we come down onto all fours. We get the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. We get the spine in a neutral position. We brace the abdominals. And then what we want to do is lift the arm and the leg. We would hold that for a period of time. Could be 5 seconds, could be 10 seconds, could even be 20 seconds on one side, 20 seconds on the other side. What we want to be able to do is get those muscles active. If we're getting the muscles above and below active, we're going to be able to build that much more strength and endurance, which is going to be that much more effective for us. So what's happening in the bird dog? Well, when we lift an arm, the muscles of the mid back are activating and essentially holding up the lower back. So it's a really effective exercise to be able to stabilize that area because we're getting the muscles on either side of the spine working more effectively to strengthen and stabilize that area. When we lift the leg, we're engaging this glute here. So what we're able to do with the muscles on this side of the mid back and the glutes on this side, on the opposite side, we're able to get them working, which is going to hold the low back in place, which is what we want for strength and what we want for endurance and also what we want for stability. So we're getting both sides in one, but what we're also doing is minimizing the load on the spine as well. So when we go here, it's one glute, one side. When we're here, it's this side and the other glute. That's giving us the stability when we change from side to side. When we do it for a long time, that's giving us the endurance, and then over time, that will start to build the strength as well. Move or exercise 2 is the bridge. Very simple exercise, but very effective exercise if we can do it correctly and if we can progress in the right way. So what we're looking for from this exercise is getting the glutes active. And also you could say getting the spine in the right position, because again, that's something that a lot of people can miss. So what we do is we come down onto the floor, feet apart, knees apart, then brace the abdominals, squeeze the glutes, lift up to the top, then you'll feel the hips really come on. Now the important bit here, and this is the people that get wrong, is they overextend the spine and you feel that sort of pinching in the lower back. So what we want to be able to do, abdominals on, glutes on, that sets the pelvis, sets the spine, and then we come up and we don't get any of that pinching because what we're doing is we're getting the pelvis in position. So what we would do is we would build up and we would hold that for a period of time. If you've got bands, put it around your knees, get involved with the glute medius, glute minimus as well. That's only going to be helpful. So we would start with just a very simple bridge. Keep the arms off the floor, that's going to make it a little bit harder. Put the arms on the floor, it's going to make it a little bit easier because you're supporting some of the weight with the elbows. So depending on where you are with regards to your low back journey, you can start with your elbows down or your arms up, whichever is best for you. Once you've got to a point where you're strong in that position, you can then start to go into a single leg. Now single leg is slightly harder. When it comes to the double leg, you want to be able to feel your glutes squeeze. Now, generally that's much easier because as you get to the top, they should just naturally just engage and squeeze together. It's a little bit harder when we come onto one leg. So what we do, we bring feet and knees together, we come up, we feel the glutes squeeze with both feet down. Then, if I'm picking up my left leg, I want to focus on my right glute, keeping that up, keeping that in position, and keeping that squeezed as I lift up my right leg. What I can then do is go back down, again, get the squeeze back on with the left and lift the right. So if I am doing this sort of marching position, I want to keep the hips up all the way through, but also left glute, right glute, left glute, and take as much time as you need in that transition to get those muscles engaged. So you want to be able to feel that as you go. Then what you can start doing, if you're doing that marching, you can then just go into right leg hold, left leg hold, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, however long you feel like doing it. So the second part is the bridge, builds the glutes, which is going to help support the low back. Move or exercise number 3 is the side plank and a leg raise. And the leg raise is important for a couple of reasons, because what it's going to do is it's going to engage glute medius, glute minimus. So again, if we've got a bridge, if we've got a band for the bridge, that can engage glute medius, glute minimus. If we haven't got that, we can use the side plank for that. So what we would do is we would come down onto the floor, into this position. We would lift up into our side plank. What we would then do, lift up, place it down on top. Lift up, place it down in front. And every time we pick that foot up, this hip on the underside has to work that much harder. That's the glute medius, glute minimus engaging to hold the hip up, to hold the torso up, to hold the lower back up, which is what we're aiming for. And then when we put it down, there'll be a slight disengaging of the muscles, and then when we pick it back up again, they'll be engaging again. So again, what we're building here is a strength. Not only, well, the exercise we've looked at so far I've done all through the posterior part of the body, so muscles of the upper back and the glutes, and to some respects the hamstrings as well. So we've built that chain, but what we don't want to be is just really strong at the back. We want to be strong all the way around. So the side plank is going to help us start to do that, but it will also help us use the glute muscles. Also, when we're in this position, what we're doing, stabilizing the hip, because if we are in this position and as soon as we take it off we drop, that's showing an instability. If it's quite hard in that position, just start on the knees and just lift up, put it down, lift up, put it down. So again, depending on the journey that you're on, where you're starting, that could be a slightly easier solution. Move up onto the feet, move the foot on, move the foot off. So again, what we're trying to do is build not just through the posterior and build just the lower back, but also build all the way around, so we've got a complete set, a complete torso supporting the lower back, which is going to make the strength and endurance of the lower back enhanced and heightened so much more, because the whole system is stronger rather than just the back or posterior part of the system. Exercise number 4 is the single leg RDL. We're looking now to make it a little bit more dynamic, build more stability, but what we're also able to get is that development in the balance and the smoothness of movement, which is stability through the ankle, knee and the hip. And we're able to take some of the stuff that we were trying to do with the bird dog and enhance that. So what the single leg RDL looks like is if we stand with feet together, this leg stays straight, you lift the heel, again engage the glute, tip the body forward, so we maintain sort of a straight line going through the body as if I'm stood up, slight bend of this knee, control the position, and then we come back up. So again, what we're looking for is down, engage this glute, and come forwards. Now, the initial part of this, as I mentioned, is stability through ankle, knee, and hip. So that is where this doesn't really move. If we're all over the place, we've got instability somewhere through there, and that needs to be rectified. So we've got that stability going through one side. What then happens is with this back leg, this is where the bird dog element comes into it. So the reason I've said we extend and we engage this hip is because as we tip forward, we're engaging the muscles of the mid-back to keep the body up. We're now engaging the muscles of the glutes to keep this leg up. So again, all the way through that chain is activated to hold everything up, like the lines on a suspension bridge to hold the road up. They're staying active to hold everything in place. Keep the spine in neutral, we tip forward, glutes on, mid-back is on, and then we come up. And then finally when we come back, or when we go back and come back up, That's the dynamic part to it. That's the smoothness of movement. That's showing that we've got good stability through this ankle, knee and hip. So there's two ways of it happening. Is one, they're not wobbling. So the knee stays in position nice and smooth. And then that allows the second part is the movement to be nice and smooth. And we come through there. So again, this leg basically stays stationary. As we tip forward, that leg comes back, we come back, we go back, so on and so forth. So we want the single leg RDL to bring essentially everything together. With the other exercises, we've been building the muscles and getting them to engage and consciously mind-muscle connection, getting them going. What we're now doing is building it in to everyday types of movements like tipping forward, like lifting, like bending, so on and so forth, but also still building stability, strength, endurance through the lower back. Many thanks for watching. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If you've enjoyed the content, hit the like button. If you've learned something new, hit the thanks button. If you've got a comment or a question, leave it down below in the comment section. Or if you want to watch more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon and you'll be notified when I release more.